Hello Bison fans, we're joined today by head wrestling coach Roger Kish. We're going to recap the Oklahoma State match and set up a big week for Bison wrestling at the Cliff Keen Invitational in Las Vegas. It's been a very strong start to the year for Bison wrestling against a very tough schedule, and that did not change this past weekend. Oklahoma State came in, and Coach Kish, thanks for your time today, and let's talk about Oklahoma State a little bit. It was 40-3. These guys are really good, top 5 team, top 2 team in the country. They came in here with 4 top 10 kids who they got a lot of points out of in this particular duel. Just give us a summary of what your take was on this duel with Oklahoma State and Fargo.
You know, it's not every day you get a chance to bring a team like Oklahoma State to Fargo, and it was a great opportunity for us. And you know, I believe it's the first time North Dakota State has ever dueled Oklahoma State head-to-head. So you know, there was a lot for us to prove, and you know, I think at the end of the day, you know, it was pretty humbling for our men, and it really put things in perspective on ways that we got to continue to get better and find ways to continue to fight. But we did have some good takeaways. There were some good matches, some quality matches that we felt that we closed the gap from last year to this year as individuals. And again, there's some areas that we got to find ways to continue to improve.
You know, Ream got the points for you in this Oklahoma State duel. He also won his match at Northern Iowa, faced a really tough kid at 57 from Iowa in the first match. So Clay's off to a pretty good start here against really solid competition.
Yeah, you know, had a nice win against the South Dakota State wrestler as well. And so his strength of schedule on this front side, his first few matches has been really challenging for him. And we've tried to design it this way. If you look at our schedule, the first semester, and then even into the early parts of the second semester of our schedule, you'll see the level of competition that we're trying to compete with. And you know, it's to set a standard, and we really want to see what our guys are made of. I think we have a great group of older guys in the squad that can handle this, and it's really you know, it's a red flag for these young guys that are sitting and watching and what to expect and how they need to train and prepare. So you know, we're really looking at this from a different perspective when we create our schedule and making sure it is a challenging schedule, and you know, it's something that we're hoping our guys learn from.
So we got points at 57 against Oklahoma State. Were there any other matches in that duel against Oklahoma State where you thought guys did well, thought guys really took a step forward from the Northern Iowa weekend?
Yeah, I think you know, one match that we missed, I was really happy the way we saw our 25-pounder go out and compete. They're 125-pound Oklahoma State. Piccanini is a very talented guy, and watching him go out and compete well with him, you know, I think gave him a lot of confidence, knowing that he's not far off from closing that gap, or he has at least closed the gap. And then, you know, we missed out on a good matchup that we really wanted to see. Our 133-pounder Cameron Sikora go out and wrestle Cade Brock, again, another really talented Oklahoma State wrestler here. And again, get that feel, find out where he is against some of the best wrestlers in the country, and again, start to close those gaps. So, you know, we're happy with a couple of those performances. 149 was another really good performance. Mitch Bankson went out and proved that he can compete with those best guys, but, you know, competing and beating those guys are two different stories. So we got to, again, find ways to win those close matches and go out and battle and position ourselves to win. And then you look at guys like Ream, who really did a nice job against a really talented young man out there, Blaylock. And then you know, I think it was really nice, and one of our biggest surprises was to see our 165 pounds go out, Andrew Fogarty, and go out and really compete well with Chandler Rogers out there. And that was a good match. We felt that this was going to be a really competitive match, and we got down early in the match at takedown and gave up some near fall points. And you know, with the new near fall rules, it really makes it challenging to come back and close the gap on those. So I believe he wrestled probably the second, you know, the last 5 minutes of that match really well, and controlled the last 3 minutes especially. Again, we just got to find ways to score more points and close the gap in some of those areas.
No doubt. Let's move forward now. This week, you know, the fourth tough weekend here as far as matches go. It's the Cliff Keen Collegiate Invite in Las Vegas. Give us a sense of what that tournament is like, what this will mean for your guys that you do take out to Las Vegas.
Yeah, and again, I think it just goes to show how we are challenging our guys to compete on a big stage week in and week out, and not to ask them to prepare for one weekend and take weeks off or get complacent in their training or in their competition. So we've created a schedule that's going to challenge these guys week in and week out. And you look at it: Iowa, Northern Iowa, Oklahoma State, Vegas. Next week we got Central Michigan coming up to Fargo, another challenging one. So it's a schedule that's going to challenge these guys. And you look at the ability level and some of the talent that's going to be out in Vegas at this competition. It's probably second to the NCAA tournament and individual tournaments throughout the season. So we're excited. It's going to position our guys to have opportunities to compete and see some new faces, and give them some opportunities to beat some new guys, and that's what we want.
Best of luck to you and the guys this weekend in Vegas, and fans, get ready for that Central Michigan match here at the Shield Center. It's a fun December set up for Bison Wrestling. Fun start to the year. If you love wrestling, this is the place to be. See these guys go against some of the best competition in the country. Best of luck to you and the guys. Coach Roger Kish, I'm Jeremy Jorgensen, and we'll be back next week to talk Bison Wrestling.